Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your 2024 forecast for the whole of the year for Sun, Moon and Rising. What I will be doing is drawing a card for each month of the year, which means that over the course of 2024 you can return back to this video at any stage. Make sure you give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I will be posting repeats of this post throughout the course of next year, so you see where you're at and what's coming towards you. We're also going to get a theme for you for the year. We will also get a message, some guidance from Spirit, and we're going to do a cross of truth that tells me kind of what your desire is throughout the year, what challenges are coming up, what is in your favored position, and the general outcome. All right, so let us jump in. We are going to get a theme for you from the Sacred Destiny deck. So Sagittarius, what is 2024 bringing you? And please remember that energies are non-gender specific, so take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Okay. The theme for you is community. Sagittarius, it's very important that this year you bring about a sense of community, you work with other communities, you gather ideas, collaborate, work with a sense of humanity. That's the theme for you this year. So even if you've been feeling a bit kind of isolated on your own, the guidance here is really to kind of get involved. Even if it's just a little club on the side, but whatever you're doing, it seems to involve a sense of community, and that's the theme throughout the year. Now we're going to be using my deck for each month of the year. Okay. Sagittarius 2024 for their highest good, please. Whoops. Slippery cards today. Okay. And just bear with me while I lay them all out and the cross of truth before we delve in. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, really positive so far. We will go into each aspect of it shortly, but first I'm going to do your cross of truth on the side over here, and then I've got everything to work through. Got four major arcanas for you throughout the year. Major arcanas in tarot are like predestined currents of energy, so no matter what, you're going to be moving through those energies. Minor arcanas are like the kind of temporary day-to-day details that you can change and maneuver at will, okay? But it still tells me where you're at. Okay. Okay, foundation, desire, what's working in your favor, challenge, and the outcome. All right, Sagittarius, starting the month in January, so you're actually starting the year, we've got the Three of Wands, which tells me that there's something that you've worked on in the past and you need to sort of keep going. All right, so this is in the depiction of a bushman making fire. It takes time, okay? So you're kind of in a bit of a pause position, perhaps in terms of work or waiting for someone to get back to you. And it's everything to do with your excitement, everything to do with kind of, it feels like it's been taking a bit of time and you just want to reach the next step before it can feel a bit more solid. So obviously this can relate to a work project. Perhaps you started a new job recently, but you're waiting for the final details to come through. Perhaps you are waiting for pitch to come through. Perhaps you are waiting for a loved one to return home. And you're just kind of making that, you're just doing everything you can to really breathe life into the new year. So it does feel to me ever so slightly I want to say maybe a little bit frustrating in January, because you want to get going, but it just feels like this, and then there's that, and then there's that, and then there's that to do, okay? But keep making your file. The more energy you put into it, the sooner it will come into flame, and flame is sense of spirit, sense of excitement, okay? Now moving into February, we've got the Death card, and the Death card talks about transformation. It is symbolic of the butterfly having gone through a bit of a metamorphosis, the chrysalis stage, to create wings in order to fly. So it's all about new birth essentially, but something is transforming from one to another. So perhaps that's the thing that you are working on and kind of waiting on, and there's a bit of a pause, a bit of kind of slogging away at it in January, but everything's going to be shifting in February. Now in February, it seems to be that it's got something to do with your mindset, your onset of where you are and what you're doing in the world. And what I mean by that, even if you are retired, it's a kind of projects, it's kind of your social structures, it's where you sit within yourself. It seems to be a big change. I haven't done this for any of the other signs, but I just want to get another card on that, quickly on the Death card, because it's very positive, but it's like you're reevaluating. It feels like it's something that you've birthed in. Thank you. Empress, beautiful. Yes, you've birthed in. The Empress is the divine feminine. She births things into creation, and she is all about abundance, fertility, creativity, endurance, receiving. So we have this beautiful change of circumstances that are coming on in, and perhaps it's got something to do with the sense of community as well. Perhaps you have been pitching for some sort of project and you need to contact the local authorities, something that's community orientated, something that can go pretty far in terms of rebirth itself, can be able to be that kind of never-ending supply. Okay, so there's a huge transformation coming in January for you. For others of you, February. For others of you, this could have a bit of a romantic aspect involved. Obviously, it's February because, Valentine's, even though it's consumerism bullcrap, but that's my personal opinion of Valentine's. But the reason I'm saying that is because we've also had the Emperor turn up in your reading as well. And so when you have the Empress and the Emperor, we've got a divine counterpart. Okay, so if you've been waiting on something, there's going to be a huge change in February, and it is definitely for the positive. So look forward to that. Keep plodding away in January, because in February you're going to start to see those changes take place. And even if it feels a bit uncomfortable, just move with it. Just move with it. Now in February we've got the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is basically communication. Any knight is about action orientation, and when it's sword energy, it's talking about communication and technology. All right, anything that's kind of in the air spirit, so in the air vibe. So sometimes it can feel like a bit of a forceful energy, like really plowing away, really getting the information. So what I'm sensing for you is that March is going to be pretty busy with kind of information backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. Technology, needing to kind of, I would say, level up your technology. Look at what technology that you have. Can you upgrade certain things? Can you look at your financial situation and maybe tweak or change some of the supplies that you're using to get a better deal for yourself? It's got all that kind of paperwork, and it's really a good month for you to be looking into this and handling this. And I'm being drawn to this Cross of Truth because we've got the Tower at the base card, right? We will be going into this deeper, but the Tower at the base card basically says that you're going to be experiencing repeated energies of where you feel that your station in life, where you feel safe and secure, it's going to shift. It's like it's like the ground is moving, and you have to kind of shift position and shift position and shift position again. So March will be a really useful idea for you to kind of really go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, see if you can get a better deal on things ultimately. For others of you, definitely communication coming in, perhaps even from distant relatives now suddenly getting in contact with you to make sure that you're good. But again, it doesn't have that kind of forceful energy attached. So even if you do not want to do anything about it, I would encourage it. Also, it's March, and it's often April's like tax end year, so really try and gather all your facts and figures. It's really going to be beneficial for you. Okay, it's kind of like a little bit of a boring month, but boring in the sense of February was so big for you that now you're having to kind of play catch up a little bit, because we had that huge change and a shift to your situation, a shift to your station. And your station could be your location where you live, that could be your station with regard to work or social standing, okay, or even your status as whether you're single or taken, right? So there's that shift taking place. And now March is kind of gathering up the information, kind of making sure all your ducks are in a row, okay? Now, having done that, as you move into April, we've got the Emperor. And the Emperor is a divine masculine I was talking about. So you could be connecting with a divine counterpart, because we've got both the Empress and the Emperor. And do not worry too much about the genders here. We all inhabit both the feminine and masculine energies within ourselves, as does everyone else. But this shows me that you are now, having created a very strong platform for this new transformation, this new station that you've created for yourself. Now you're thinking really ahead. You're thinking, okay, well, what moves do I need to make now to ensure that myself and my loved ones are safe and secure and happy and have their needs met, okay? The Emperor is that divine masculine who goes out and is action oriented. He goes out and does stuff. He contacts people. He delegates to people. He really has an overview of what the best outcome should be for all. Again, I'm being drawn to that community card. So you could be leveling up. You could be kind of moving more into kind of a natural leader position, where you have got a very, I would say, like a balanced overview of the good for all. So I don't know what kind of work you're doing, but whatever strategies, whatever kind of moves you're putting into place in April, it's very, very prosperous, okay? And it enables others to kind of look up to you a little bit more. Now, as we move into May, we've got the Hierophant card. The Hierophant is talking about rules and regulations. Now, sometimes this can talk about spiritual ascension and, receiving light activations and bringing higher information, intuition down to the physical plane. And while it could very much be that, I'm more drawn to the other variety of what the Hierophant represents, which can talk about organizations, rules, regulations, the system, the structure, okay? It feels to me that whatever moves you are making with your chess piece, and this is what the year is actually going to bring you. It's like playing chess a whole year. It feels to me like you're going to be one step ahead of everybody else. And in May, I feel like you are making your moves based on the ever-changing scenario of the structures or societies that is kind of keeping, that is basically dictating how we should live. So it's like you're doing your homework, you're kind of weaving yourself around either through the loopholes of certain laws, or making the law work for you, or the rules work for you. And so in order to achieve that, it's like you need to do your homework. You need to kind of gather information and resources, maybe even following. So I feel like you are, again, it's a very ascended aspect from where you start the year. Feels to me like you start the year kind of a bit on your own, and then that transformation that takes place, the transformation to your station, so to speak, moves you up to more of a kind of, I don't want to say public figure, but somewhere where you are seen and respected. And it has an added sense of responsibility to it, but I feel like you are, not only can you absolutely do this, but I feel like you're okay with the challenge. You're like, no, somebody's got to do this, right? And in so doing this, in so kind of seeing the higher values for people at large, for a bigger community, even if it's just a big family, right? it feels to me like it gives you a sense of authority, which I really, really like. Now, having gone through all that in May, having attained a lot of information, gathered your facts and your figures, and you've done your drawing board about what needs to take place to enable the shift moving forward. Again, this could just be a community project, or could be the work that you do, or perhaps a relocation, because all of that seems to be taking place in February, right? After you gather all of that information, now you return back to the drawing board in June. Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups shows you in a position of, okay, I'm going to sample. I've got loads of options and opportunities. Now that I've gathered my information, I have 7 options to choose from. It's not really 7. It could be more than, less than. But what it talks about is having opportunities available to you, options available to you. That's why they say that knowledge is power, right? Ignorance is bliss, because you don't know any better. But when you gain the knowledge, which you have in May, you recognize that once you have knowledge of all these how different rules and regulations work, you're now, okay, do I go this way? Do I go this way? Do I go this way? And I feel like you spend June kind of in more of a sort of a sleepy state, more kind of in the background. Excuse me, I've been sick for quite a while. More in the background, more kind of tasting and sampling different areas to it. This is actually like, this just seems like the perfect kind of entrepreneurial spirit, whereby you know what the goal is, you know what the out-term goal is, you've gathered your information, but before being too impulsive and instigating something, it's like, okay, I am going to experiment with this, I'm going to experiment with this, I'm going to experiment with all of these areas and see what the best return is before I really make my move, okay? So in doing that, once you've done that, as you move into July, you're just kind of taking the steps, okay? You've perhaps made a decision, but you're kind of taking certain steps to get there. With the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is the most reliable knight in the deck. Again, knights are action orientated. He is slow, he is steady, and he always wins a race. So again, there could be a little bit of travel there, but it's slow. Whatever you're working on, you have this foresight for long term. So you don't kind of want to rush. In the beginning of the year, you felt like, oh, things aren't happening fast enough. But now that you've been gathering all your things, it feels to me like there has an energy of a kind of, let's wait and see how things pan out. Okay, so you're kind of methodically kind of plodding along, doing what needs to take place and seeing how people respond at large, whether that's your close connections, your business colleagues, or the globe at large, all right? And you're kind of just waiting to see how other people respond, and that will inform you moving forward. Now, if anything has felt like it has been kind of as if the carpet has been pulled from under your feet, I feel again like you're in a very strong position because you are not being impulsive, okay? As we move into, what do we got here now? August, we've got the Justice card, okay? So things are leveling out. The Justice card is Lady Justice. It talks about divine timing. It talks about karma, okay? What you put in, you get out. Any action you've put in, you get out. So I feel that whatever, if anything has been a little bit kind of untoward, anything that's been a bit out of balance, it's going to shift back into balance, okay? And there are quite a lot of channelers out there who've been talking about how we may be receiving, we may have a 3-month period in 2024 whereby it is economically a bit of a disaster in terms of inflation may go, through the roof and people might freak out, okay? But it's only going to last for 3 months. It's going to die out as quickly as it came in, and 3 months of maybe a bit of hardship while new systems come into play. So it could be that sort of timing. Justice shows that things are coming back into balance and you're in a stronger position to now move forward. So any of the work that you've done, it feels like you're starting to get the remuneration for it, the admiration for it, the support and the recognition, okay? And if the bank balance hasn't been that great, it feels like there's a bit more of a sigh of relief that having sort of sat back and seen what happens, you know, in July, August brings around, okay, now, right. It may also be as well, I don't know why I'm picking up on this, but it may be that you have noticed people around you, either like people in the workplace or distant friends who are kind of, I don't want to say getting what they deserve, that's not that's a horrible way of putting it. You're noticing how things are coming back around with people in your outer circles, and you're starting to see that play out. So where you were kind of looking for how people are going to be responding to certain things in July, in August you're starting to notice how what goes around comes around, and it's reinforcing your own intention of focus on the good of all, of community, of where you are within your family. And it kind of has quite a nice reassuring feeling that you're still good, you're still good, you're still good. Those who do wrong in the world, it's their problem. It'll come around when the time is right. Okay, so it's got a very reassuring factor to it. As we move into September, now we've got the Six of Wands. So September sees you in a very powerful position of really being recognized, perhaps even rewarded for your efforts. It's like your sense of community are coming together and they're supporting you more. So perhaps there was something that you were working on in the beginning of the year where maybe people didn't really understand what you were going on about, you know, particularly if you had a project or an idea that you wanted for the good of all, right? Maybe not many people were sort of forthcoming, and you had that lull afterwards after gathering all your information. In September, I see a lot of recognition coming forward, okay? Whatever you've been working on is being well received, and they want more of what, Sagittarius, you've got to give, okay, in the world. I see good news coming forward for you in October with the Page of Swords, okay? This is as a result of this recognition, this kind of type of authority figure energy that you are inhabiting. Even if you work from home, and even if you're not always out there like in the public eye in that respect, I do feel like you're turning people's heads. And as a result of this recognition that you've received, or an award, or this level of support that's come on in October, you're starting to get good news. You're starting to get people send you messages. Whereas in March, you were the one more so making your inquiries and putting yourself out there. Now people kind of reaching out to you. It's very, very prosperous. I like it because they see your worth, and they know that they can kind of invest in you. All right. Now, as you move into November, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So now you are really sitting pretty. The Queen of Pentacles talks about kind of quite a domesticated feeling, but very solid and stable in the finances, in their fertility, in the ability to have exactly what they need when they need it. So quite an abundant energy of if you are running out of cauliflower, then you're going to grow the cauliflower, okay? If you need to attain something but you don't have the finances to do it, you know somebody who has that skill set, and you're going to trade with them, okay? So it feels like it's quite nice, and I feel like you're going to be more of a homebody in November, trying to kind of create more of a sense of a refuge at home, where it is multi-purpose, multidisciplinary, and enables you to have the most freedom possible, okay? As we move into December, you really are feeling that to a higher level, because we've got the Nine of Pentacles. Again, talking in the finances, talking about abundance, talking about the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, okay? and having an added level of foresight and vision for the future. Okay, Nine of Pentacles is sometimes synonymous with wish fulfillment, but it's basically being self-sufficient, being independent. And to move from the Queen of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles, it means that both those 2 months you're feeling quite a lot more comfortable, okay, with your direction, with what it is that you're doing, with your home environment, and also with your finances to a degree, with your idea of resources. Abundance as a sense of flexibility, freedom, money, talents, skills, gifts, favors, all of those areas of abundance. And I feel like it's come down to this energy of trust. It's weird because it feels to me like with the community card coming up as a theme, it feels to me like if you were just doing it as if your vision was just on a self-serving basis, you may not trust in yourself as much, but because there's a higher cause, even if it's to talk about taking charge of your family, you know, for the good of all, right? It seems like when you have that as a kind of a mission, then it feels to me that you can absolutely trust in yourself. It's nice, I really like it, but you're going to be feeling a lot more prosperous come the end of the year. Now, if we move into the Cross of Truth, okay, we've got your foundation being the Tower, as I said before. So this is where you're going to have that repeat energy of feeling as if the rug has been pulled out from underneath you. You're going to have moments throughout the year where you feel as if I thought I was secure in this position, whether that's in a romantic partnership, within a family unit, within friend circle, within a work situation, within your own business if you have it, within even a church group, whatever the case may be for you. I felt that this was solid and now I realize it isn't. The Tower is essentially a very positive card because what it means is that we have to a degree built up walls around ourselves like a defense mechanism, but it no longer holds truth. Okay, it no longer stands strong. We build towers that work for a season, but now that season is over or been over for quite some time, and having not recognized that, it's going to fall apart around you. So it can be kind of like an uncomfortable energy, but having watched this and knowing this in the start, you can equip yourself with the knowledge that okay, that had to go because that wasn't actually working in my highest favor, okay, for the good of all. And that seems to be like your overall view of the year. So you're going to return to this moment of like, oh my goodness, that which I counted on and put my trust in, can't trust in that. Okay, fine, let's deal with that. This, oh, I don't know if I can really rely on this. Okay, that's got to go. The desire here throughout the year, what your focus is, and you poor things, you've got a lot of work, but your desire, your approach, the whole of the year is 8 of Pentacles. So you are really seeing 2024 as a year to really make waves, okay? You are looking to up your levels, up your skill sets, learn loads, work late into the night, gather your pentacles, because it's a number 8. 8 in numerology is manifestation. Pentacles is your physical, material environment. Okay, so your desire here is I want to put the work in because I want to feel secure. I want that return. I want that investment to pay off. Okay, it could even be in love, right? The energy that we put in, we want it to be long term, right? So the desire is, you know that you're quite happy to put the work in for what it is that you desire. Okay, you're not scared of hard work. What's working in your favor is you have more strength in you than you realize. Your favorite position throughout the year is the Strength card. Having the ability to really go within, to understand your own personal demons, to tame your wild side, to understand that even when you feel like you're exhausted, you've always got a little bit more in you to keep going. Particularly if you are particularly if you are surrounded by people who may not agree with you initially. Stand strong in your power, because you have the vision. You absolutely have the vision. Later down the line, they will follow you. But for now, standing by yourself and standing strong sometimes requires the most strength. Okay, so strength is going to be the you're going to look back on this year in years to come and realize, wow, I did that, I did that, I did that. I walked somewhere where I was frightened, but I was brave and courageous enough to do so. And the result I got was so much more. It was worth it. The challenge is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles come up twice. It came up in November, but this is showing up as your challenge. So it may feel that for the most part over the year, until near the end of the year, you may be feeling like resourceless, like you're running out of items. You know, your finances aren't looking so cushy, or you are away from home a lot. Okay, and this is going to be a challenge. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that we have to kind of work through, in the sense that if it's a challenge, then there's always something to be learned within it. It enables us to, particularly if we're away from home a lot, or we're feeling that we are feeling like we don't have much to offer, it's always pointing us back within to realize, no, we have a lot to offer, and we can be flexible and move with changes, move with the tides. Okay, the outcome is the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords is basically that point where you are going to recognize at many junctures throughout the year that how many people around you are out to simply serve themselves, and this is going to have quite a niggling effect on you. You're going to treat where your focus is on, you know, your happiness and your wealth and your prosperity and your health, right? And your close connections, be that you see them within a community, within the globe as a whole collective, or just your family unit. You're starting to, you keep noticing how you keep noticing so many people who are out there for themselves. And it's like you have the foresight, you have the vision of that's going to come back around. That's not serving community. That is not going to help us in the long term. That's just going to help make us step back a bit. So it's not your energy I'm feeling there. I'm feeling it's more of that kind of, because it's sword energy, so it's intellectual, that processing of information. Oh wow, that person really didn't really give a crap about anybody or that system or that leader. And you're going to be confronted with these ideas, which I feel is actually gaining more momentum in you to follow your passion of something that is going to reward back in an equal measure. What you put in, you get out, right? So it feels like you are kind of fired up by this, and perhaps even a little bit discouraged by what you're seeing around you. But I think more so it's going to give you the fuel to make more of, more of a desire, more energy, more fuel to keep you going, keep you going, keep you going. So it's an incredible year for you, really. You are definitely going to be recognized for the work that you've done, okay? And this, don't worry if you feel like you are in this position when you watch this, like, well, Robyn, I'm not kind of nearby anyone, I'm kind of by myself, and don't worry about that. You don't know how the year's going to change. You've got a big change coming in February as well. And also, you'd be amazed how powerful, what the amazing rippling effect of smiling to a stranger, how that could have an amazing consequence to that person's life, which then has a rippling effect on others, right? So even a simple smile or a kind word to a stranger is something of high value for you this year. Of course, you may take it a step further and do some sort of project, but it feels to me that it's all about creating something that feels a lot more secure, definitely more secure and more reliable than you've had up until now. Okay, we're going to end this with a message from Spirit. There we go. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So this is bringing me back to that strength card again. Okay, about perhaps at some point you may be feeling a little bit isolated, a bit kind of a lone wolf as you're trying to make positive changes for all, right? So what Spirit here is just saying is encouraging you, keep going, keep going. Trust your vision, trust your path, trust the way that you're doing it, because we need you. We need you as uniquely, with all your skill sets, with all your personality traits. We need you, okay? So if you can at least pretend that you are supported, that may help you get over a few little hurdles over the year. But what Spirit is basically saying is that you are supported. Okay, you just don't see it yet. You're going to see it later in the year, all right? So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope it helped. I hope it resonated. Give me a thumbs up, a like, share, comment, any of that jazz, right? Totally free to subscribe, by the way. If you are interested in any channeling, I channel a 7th density collective called Annika Sanja, and I have a 2024 forecast from them. So it should pop up on this video, so you can click on that and see what they have to say coming to us basically as a collective for 2024. So may see you there. If not, have a superb year. Keep returning back to this video to see where you're at and what's coming forward for you. And of course, if you're interested in a personal reading or channeling session, check out my website, loveitmore.com. Information is in the description box below. Have a grand year. Take care.